So is Dan Lanning on the move? That's the question going into this weekend. And Kirby Smart's going to have to hold together this staff during the offseason. This is the time of year where things can change. And for Kirby and company, they're going to have to battle Texas to keep Dan Lanning. This is according to uh, Dennis Dodd at CBS Sports, who is reporting that Georgia defensive coordinator Dan Lanning has emerged as a favorite to take the same position at Texas. Sources told CBS Sports on Friday the 34-year-old Lanning interviewed at Texas this week, as did Arkansas defensive coordinator Barry Odom and Mississippi State defensive coordinator Zach Arnett. So a couple of different things here from me about this, which is that this is not going to become it could become a bidding war, but if Georgia wants to keep him, they'll keep him. And this is not going to be about money. And this is probably going to be about, does Dan feel like he can make a quicker path to being a head coach by going to Texas? I don't know. I mean, you're talking about starting over with Steve Sarkisian at Texas in the Big 12, where there's a bunch of points scored. Of course, there's a bunch of points scored in the SEC these days too. But for Dan Lanning, that would be, no matter what, he is one of the best defense coordinators in the country, and has gone from Memphis to Georgia to possibly Texas or staying at Georgia. I mean, one of those two jobs, they are both huge spotlight jobs in college football. I'm not saying I'm always skeptical of moves until they happen. And an interview does not necessarily mean a move. If he were moving, I would think Dan Lanning would be looking for a different style of workload would be my suspicion. Kirby Smart, they're working, and they're working a lot at Georgia. It is nonstop. And Dan Lanning has proven that he's a very good defensive coordinator. You don't have to work the way Georgia does necessarily to get the results. I think the difference is you got to do that in the SEC. You don't have to do that necessarily in the Big 12 or the ACC. So it could be a lifestyle change. It could be nothing. Just because something becomes a report that's out there that guys are interviewing doesn't mean that they're looking at jobs or taking them seriously. So if you want a raise, the quickest way to do that is to interview with someone else, get a job offer, tell the place you're currently employed at that you need a bump, and that's how you get it. If you are looking to leave, then you just leave. So, I could see why you'd leave to go to Texas. It's a huge school in terms of the spotlight's going to change for Texas. They're going to definitely be much more in the conversation, I think, with Steve Sarkisian than they have with these last two coaches. So, for Dan, it's probably a tricky thing. I'm not aware that they've offered him the job, but you're talking about a guy who has managed to finish 12th and 3rd in back-to-back years in scoring. So that's a pretty good indicator of how well Dan Lanning has done at Georgia. Now, taking it back 40,000 feet, every one of Kirby's defensive coordinators has succeeded. Mel Tucker is the head coach at Michigan after being the head coach at Colorado. They're doing okay on the defensive side of the ball, and that Kirby is a defensive wizard, which he is. They're going to be okay on the defensive side of the ball. Dan Lanning deserves credit for what he's done. I'm not taking away credit. What I'm saying is you have a defensive specialist. They're going to do pretty well on the defensive side of the ball, no matter who the defensive coordinator is in 2021. So it's just something we're going to have to watch. I don't know what will happen. This is really an interesting question because there's not a lot of coordinators that are going to make lateral moves. And this is a lateral move. I don't know if you can say it's a move down. Texas is still Texas, but they're certainly as a program not even in the same universe as Georgia. These last decade have proven that. One win in a Sugar Bowl, and that's not how it works. I mean, Clemson ain't Alabama, and they've beaten them. So I think for Dan, if you look at what his trajectory could be, should be, whatever you want to call it, he will be a head coach. The question is when. If he were to go to Texas, would it get him to be a head coach quicker? I don't know. But this does show that he's not going to be at Georgia forever. No one thought he would be. I think, though, that Kirby Smart knows what he would be doing, where he would be going. I mean, this guy is several moves in front of everybody else, it always seems like. So let's just see how it progresses. Dean Laker from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. Make sure you're clicking on these playlists. We update them consistently to give you the best content you can get. Thanks for watching.